Following breaking news in South Nashville, a drive-by shooting leaving a teenager dead. News Channel 5's Cuthbert Langley has been at South Police Precinct live for us all morning long, getting the latest details. And you were saying earlier this does appear to be a targeted shooting.
That's what police are saying, Steve. The investigation has kind of progressed throughout the morning, and they're kind of leaning towards that at this point. That's because they say one of the suspects inside of the car called the victim over right before the shooting. We now know that the victim is an 18-year-old man, but they have not released his identity yet because they are still in the process of contacting the family. Here's a look at the scene from last night around 10 o'clock. We are talking about the area of Vine Hill Road down in South Nashville. What we know is that there was a group of guys hanging outside of a home when a dark colored SUV pulled up. Someone, like I said, inside of that car called the victim over. Witnesses reported hearing several gunshots, and the victim was then on the ground. Emergency officials rushed him to Vanderbilt Medical Center, but by the time they got there to the hospital, the victim was already dead. Police have been really working that area for much of the early morning and late night hours. You see several evidence markers out there on the scene kind of dotting where the bullet casings were, because again, we're hearing about multiple gunshots being fired. And you also saw several witnesses there on the scene too. Those are the folks kind of helping police with this investigation. They've been interviewing several people to help to see if they could connect what happened here. But again, they still do not have a good lead on who they are looking for. All they know is that there were several people inside of this dark colored SUV. So obviously a lot of work left to do this morning. If you know anything that could help police get this killer off the streets, give Crime Stoppers a call at 615-74-CRIME. We're live at the South Police Precinct this morning. I'm Cuthbert Langley, News Channel 5 HD.
Cuthbert, thank you. We're learning more about the death of a young Fort Campbell soldier who was gunned down outside his own home. Private Savon Easterling's body was found Sunday just steps from his front door on Teakwood Drive in Clarksville. Investigators found nearly half a dozen bullet holes in the side of his home. We're told the 21-year-old was a very popular, well-liked member of the military. So far, no arrests have been made.
Our detectives have a strong feeling that someone out there knows what happened. And we're just urging those individuals or that individual to come forward.
Investigators believe there may have been two shooters. Anyone with information is asked to call 931-645-TIPS. An
appellate court will now have a big decision regarding Lindsay Lo. Will she get a new trial or not? She was found guilty of premeditated murder for killing her newborn twins. But yesterday, her new attorney told the judges that her conviction should be tossed out because the jury should never have been allowed to hear a confession she made during an interview with detectives.
Nothing's changed my mind. She was given a full trial, a fair trial. The trial lasted a number of days. There are many issues, and I think that everything that our judge at the trial level did was correct.
This trial was not reliable. It wasn't fair. It didn't come to a just result because the evidence that we wanted to introduce was not permitted.
An appellate court is expected to review all of the findings for the next several months before making a ruling.
And new this morning, after several months on the run, a man wanted in connection for a shooting in Antioch is now behind bars. Paris Middlebrooks is accused of shooting a man in the leg during a robbery on Hamilton Church Road back in December. He was booked at the Criminal Justice Center earlier this morning. Middlebrooks is now charged with especially aggravated robbery.
Well, a custom paint job may hold the key in finding a violent armed robber. Police say a man in this SUV that you'll see pictured right there robbed two women at gunpoint at 5th and Union. It appears to be either a GMC Jimmy or a Chevy Blazer. It's got silver in the front, looks like kind of a flame paint job fading to blue and purple, and then in the back it's got a black checkered pattern. Gotta be probably the only SUV painted like that in the state. If you recognize it, contact Metro Police. All right, look at these two guys right here. Police say they stole beer and electronic cigarettes from the Delta Express on 21st Avenue South in the Hillsborough Village area. The store's doors were not properly locked, so these guys just decide to, well, let's go in, shall we? Yeah, pretty easily they went in, and that's when they made the theft. They left in a dark-colored Honda sedan, according to the police. If you know who they may be, call Crime Stoppers 615-74-CRIME.
We're now getting our first look at the new traffic layout for Lower Broad. As part of the Metro Pedestrian Pilot Program, crews put up temporary fences yesterday between 1st and 5th Avenues to create more space to walk. One lane on each side of the street will also be dedicated loading zones for musicians. Metro engineers know the changes could cause some challenges for drivers, but they say the safety of people downtown is more important.
There's no loading in the rush hour, so we'll have 3 lanes during rush hour. But even in off-peak, we're watching that backup. That congestion can lead to other issues that we're not counting on. That's why we're watching it closely.
The fences are expected to be up for about 3 months so they can monitor the situation there.